This week's best MMA bets, we're talking UFC Orlando, Thompson versus Holland. This is the full card betting breakdown. So we're going to talk most confident picks, the lock of the week, favorite underdogs, props, and then we'll finish it out with the parlays section. Make sure you guys smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Turn those post notifications on and make sure to share the video as well. And let's start these most confident picks off. First one, I'm going to throw out a value one as opposed to the absolute most confident lineup. It's going to be Scott Holtzman over Clay Guida. I am feeling really good about him winning this fight. Obviously, Clay Guida is still a savage wrestler, and even in the later career is still competitive in the matchups that he has. I mean, obviously, Puellas submits him early, but the submission game plan as opposed to Holtzman, who is going to be willing to strike, also will probably entangle a bit in the grappling positions. I do like Scott Holtzman's clinch striking a lot, and I think he can win this fight in the in-betweens. I also do see him defending those Clay Guida takedowns. I can't really see Holtzman getting grinded out for 3 rounds. I think we're going to see Holtzman get the win. He's minus 150 money line, plus 185 win by decision. I'm feeling good about Scott Holtzman. I think he can get it done here, and the value's pretty good too. Ultimately, both guys, not spring chickens in the game. They're not super young. 39 versus 40. I'm riding with the 39-year-old Scott Holtzman. I think he's got less miles on, and I think he can still beat a Clay Guida in this matchup, which would be a pretty damn big win for him, having a win over a vet like Clay. Let's keep running up. The next of the most confident picks, it goes the opposite of value, but through the roof with confidence right here. It's RDA, Rafael dos Anjos. He should beat Bryan Barberena with his grappling. Does Bryan Barberena have a puncher's chance? I don't think it's all that likely because RDA is known for being very good with his durability. He also has the wrestling in the back pocket, very good submission skill set, and not even in the back pocket. He takes it out that back pocket a lot, but RDA can definitely stand up too with the Barberena. I do think Barberena has that crazy volume striking style where I think it's going to make RDA shoot, and he is going to grapple, and he'll have success there. I think the jiu-jitsu will be on display. I see him controlling Barberena on the floor, and I am going to lean towards submission. As I said, money line is minus 550. That's not what you're playing. Plus 335, win by submission. That could be something to get interested about and, sprinkle down on. Ultimately, RDA would have to be more of a, wide or extremely safe parlay piece as opposed to a money line attack really here at minus 550 for the majority of people. Let's keep running up the card. Next of the most confident picks, we jump it to Mark Jacasey. Another one that's a little wide, minus 300. I'll tell you guys, there's 2 more wide ones, but we do got a good value one coming real soon. Minus 300 is wide, but I really think he beats Michael Johnson at this point. I really liked prime Michael Johnson. He was dangerous, but even then he was hot and cold. Now, I think there's too many miles. I think that Jacasey can match him in striking, and I think he's excelling with the wrestling game. Jacasey has definitely stepped up his ground skills tremendously, and he's become a grinding style of fighter, and if things go sideways at all on the feet, I think he goes to the takedowns, which most likely is what I see for him. I'm saying decision, Jacasey to win, minus 105, over 2.5 also is a good one at minus 215. I really do think Jacasey's getting his hand raised, though. I'm highly confident that he does. The next is going to be JSP to beat an OG and Darren Elkins. I got to ride with Jonathan Pierce at minus 450. That's like crazy wide for this fight, though. I don't love the line. What I do kind of like here is over a round and a half at minus 175. Elkins is historically durable and does, kind of come on really strong later in the vast majority of his comeback wins. Ultimately, he's older. He's not looked great. I mean, he still beat Tristan Connolly in the last one, but when you look back one more, Cub Swanson destroyed him. It was a brutal knockout there, and he took a ton of damage in that fight on the feet, and he didn't even have an answer to strikes coming back. This is a different style. This is a Jonathan Pierce who likes to wrestle. He likes to control his opponents. I do think he'll have an advantage with the striking. I also feel like at this point of their careers, JSP will have the physicality. I think he'll have the physical strength. I think he'll have the explosiveness too, and he is a bigger guy naturally, taller and longer. I think JSP gets to win. Jonathan Pierce to do it. Over a round and a half, minus 175. It's minus 450 for Pierce to win money line, so you're probably not jumping on it. If I have to read out the line for decision, which I really don't like that much, but it is plus 200 money. My concern is there's a chance that Elkins is really past that prime and he gets finished. So I do think it's a little bit of a coin flip if you're looking to prop things up. But over 1.5 or JSP money line, parlay piece, certainly. Let's keep on running. The next of the most confident picks, and this is the last one right before the lock, is Matthias Nicolau. He's minus 380, but I think he's getting a sub at plus 375. I see him stunning Schnell on the feet and then following up with grappling. I do think there's going to be counters available. Granted, I like Matt Schnell's style a lot. It is fun to watch. It's high-paced, a lot of pressure, but if he opens up fighting Nicolau, a guy who moves well, a guy who can stay even more towards the cage with his lateral movement, I think he can find counter shots, especially his wide hooks. There's some sting in his punches, and I think he could hurt Schnell and follow that up with a submission. I'm liking club and sub, so plus 375, but definitely the money line is your safest. Club and sub, I guess you're taking a chance for something that I do think is possible here, but Nicolau to win. Money line, parlay piece. Let's jump to the lock of the week.
Kevin, the Trailblazer!
Kevin Holland, I had to go with the value in this one. I do think he's a very confident pick for me. I like the matchup between him and Wonderboy. At this point, it's not prime Wonderboy, but also styles make fights. Kevin Holland is an extremely long and tall guy who has good boxing skills. He's faster than Wonderboy at this point, and I do think he's going to touch him with straights from range. I could see him hurting him with the hands. I'm kind of thinking there'll be a knockout for Kevin Holland. But ultimately, I don't love the idea of prop betting. We have 5 rounds to work. Who knows the pace that Holland might come out with? He might be intending on fighting a fight that goes the full 5 here, and I could see him snapping a decision. And don't be shocked if he engages the clinch a bit and looks to control on Wonderboy if there's any striking exchanges that start to favor Stephen Thompson. I do think Kevin Holland is going to win ultimately. I think he could definitely hurt Wonderboy on the feet. And the biggest thing is this. If Wonderboy hurts Holland, Holland can shoot for the grappling. He is pretty competent on the floor, even though his wrestling is subpar. If Wonderboy is hurt, if he shoots on Holland, I think he could get submitted. He's not going to take him down. He's going to have to just clinch up and hold. I could see Holland following up and stopping him. To me, I think that the versatility of Kevin Holland can definitely win him this fight. And I'm going to pick Holland. I think money line is your best go. It's minus 160. That is the way to play this thing. I don't think you throw down chasing on props. Good quality money line. Kevin Holland, in his prime, younger guy, in a stylistic matchup that I believe he will shine in. Love this fight here between him and Wonderboy. And the value's pretty good at minus 160. Let's jump to the dog section. If you guys haven't, make sure to smash the likes. And let's talk underdog number 1, Angela Hill. She's sitting at plus 110. I do think Angie can win a decision in this matchup here. I really feel like Emily Ducote is quality with the stand-up, but I do think there's a little bit of a disadvantage with the speed and the distance that you're going to get from Angela Hill. Ultimately, Ducote has a lot of experience. She's a Bellator veteran, lots of losses there, came in the UFC, got one real clean win. Jessica Penne, though, not known for the striking, and that's where Ducote did her work in that fight. Angela Hill is a pretty competent striker. I mean, she's having split decisions with Amanda Lemos. You can't sleep on Angela Hill's striking game. She is very, very dangerous, and she's tricky on the feet. And I think Ducote, with more of that tight style, is going to be touched up from range. So I like Hill to win a competitive decision, plus 110, decision prop, plus 165. And I'll also note that over 2.5 is something that I like here, but the odds are atrocious at minus 400 for it. Yeah, decision Hill, money line Hill is okay. I don't love it, but ultimately it is dog money and a pick that I'm riding with here. The next one, this is probably the most unpopular pick maybe ever. Plus 260 for Estela Nunes and then Yarsmin Yaraigoy on the other side. I said Estela Nunes as a very close decision pick plus money. A lot of people seem to be real confident on Yaraigoy already. I want to see more. I think Estela Nunes has a tricky stand-up game. I think to be this wide, incorrect. I think the odds should be a lot closer. Yaraigoy is very young in her career. Estela Nunes is older, more experienced, does have striking experience, known for winning decisions. I know there's this narrative that she's just going to gas for certain, but styles make the fights too. You look at the Sam Hughes fight, the threat of the takedown later, and Sam Hughes just controlled the hell out of her in the 3rd round. Yes, Nunes was slowing a bit. I do think the gas tank things can be fixed up. The output will be different. In the stylistic matchup, there'll be a different amount of exertion. I do think Estela Nunes can take a very competitive decision. Who knows, even fucking controversial if it gets down to it. There is plus money on Nunes. Not my favorite pick. It's a close fight, though, and I am on the dog in this one here. Now, as far as props, if you went Nunes by decision, it's plus 450. So that's just something to note. But ultimately, Nunes, underdog money line. She is a pretty big dog here and a real test for Yasmin Yaraygui. But let's jump to the dog of the week. Janero Valdez. I think that he's going to win by knockout in this fight. Yeah, I think he's going to put on a good performance. I've never been high on Natan Levy. I'll tell you guys that straight out the gate. Even when I was watching him on Contender Series, I was thinking there's ways to beat this guy. Watching him against Mike Breeden for sure. And obviously, Rafa Garcia does have a win over him. I think Valdez's style could actually be even worse than the Garcia matchup. Valdez is dangerous with the striking. He comes forward with a lot of pressure. Plus 170. Knockout prop plus 385. The more wild style of Valdez, I think, can actually work well here against a very technical karate-based striker on the other side, being Natan Levy. As far as the grappling, I know Levy's a little bit tricky at times, but he's not a tremendous wrestler. I can see Valdez stopping the takedowns, scrapping on the feet in the close range. He will have an advantage with the punching, and I think the hands get it done. I'm going Valdez, knockout win. Don't sleep on him just because Matt Frivola knocked him out. Frivola's a killer. Plus 385 or plus 170 money line. Dog of the week, Janaro Valdez. And let's talk about just a singular prop, really, that I'm feeling here through the fights. I don't want to give you guys fluff. I don't want to give you guys bad value. When I'm looking for this prop section, I'm looking for absolutes or extremely good value. This one is a confident value pick. Plus 600, Amanda Ribas to win by submission. That's the one right there. I think it's worth sprinkling. I know a lot of people are on that Tracy Cortez side, but still, Amanda Ribas is very proven with her jiu-jitsu, extremely dangerous, and to be sitting at plus 600 as a submission specialist, at least she was known at one point of her career as such, I think that's a little bit overly wide. Worth a sprinkle. Don't go nuts with it. We talked about a lot of props through the dogs in the favorites. So I'm just going to jump right ahead to the parlays section. And let's talk about some potential parlays here. Now, RDA, Nicolau, Jacasey. Plus 100. This is a very safety first play, and I'm highly confident that these three fighters will win. Yes, I understand it's not great value, but we're looking to win on these parlays for this week, especially as I do think it's going to be a tricky one to, lock up some crazy value. I got some things that are okay value, not the fucking plus 3,000 money. Next one, RDA, Nicolau, Jacasey, and Kevin Holland. That's plus 220. Plus 220 money for something that I do see coming through. I like this one. If you run a little bit more and then you went RDA, Nicolau, Jacasey, Holland, and you added Jonathan Pierce, it's plus 290. I know it's not a huge jump, but one worth mentioning. So now if you're like, listen, I want value, man. I need either low amount of fighters with high-ass value or just a crazy play. I'll give you the lower amount of fighters with good value. Valdez have one, right? Dog money with Kevin Holland, fair money favorite, plus 325. I think that's a good one to attack. And then if you want to go a little bit heavier, Valdez, RDA, Nicolau, and Pierce. I think those four could be like your more Hail Mary play, but I'm actually feeling pretty damn good about it. It's plus 545. I'm not loving the idea of going ballistic with parlays this week. I actually didn't even write down a Hail Mary parlay to play, but we're live and, in the moment, I'm feeling it here. I know, I guess we're not live when you guys are watching this, but right now, I'm feeling it, man. I want to come up with something that's crazy value. I'm putting Kevin Holland, I'm putting RDA on the slate, and I'm putting Nicolau for sure. So now I have plus 140 with that. What can I add to bring myself some more success, some greater success? You know what I'm saying? I want to get some big plus money on this one. I think we add in the side of Valdez, plus 537 now if we have Valdez. Who else do I feel like I could add to the slate? Jonathan Pierce is in there, plus 679. Okay, the value's getting pretty damn juicy here. Do I add in the side of Pavlovich? Banking on that when I'm rooting Tuivasa but picking Pavlovich. I know you guys probably heard I'm picking Pavlovich over Tuivasa, which is hard to do, but I have to. So we'll add in Scott Holtzman for that reason. Plus 1,135 for that parlay. I think that could be a good wide Hail Mary. I'll read it off. It's Kevin Holland, Rafael dos Anjos, Rafael, Matthias Nicolau, Gennaro Valdez, Jonathan Pierce, Scott Holtzman, plus 1,135. And if you did add in Pavlovich, you're going against a fan favorite, you get plus 1,710. So some ways to potentially play it. Ultimately, keep yourself on the more cautious side. Actually, I didn't even add Jacasian. And if you put Jacasian into the mix, plus 2,305. You see where we're going here. We're going nuts with this one. Now we're in Hail Mary territory. If you guys want to go nuts with that, do it. But the ones that I listed off first, not making them live, those are the ones that I feel really, really good about. These ones here are more of the Hail Mary, swing for the fences type parlays. We'll see what happens, though. Ultimately, we got a fun card this week, and I'll be live for the entire thing. Tune into that Fight Companion. I cannot wait for it. Smash the likes if you guys are new. Subscribe. Let me know in the comments what your lock and the dog of the week and any other bets you have on the card are. Do you like mine, or are you like, nah, I'm on the other side? Let me know for sure. Thank you all so much for watching. I got much love for each and every one of you, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace, everyone.